I don't think it's a leap for me to suggest that our world faces a lot of serious problems, whether that be poverty, hunger, lack of access to clean water, pollution, and the list goes on and on. But one thing that unites a lot of people is the idea that we can change these things, or that we need to work towards progress. And corporations are starting to figure out that we want change too. So they're starting to understand if they promote this change, then it might be good for their profits. Hi, my name is Kellie May, and today I'm going to be talking about corporate social responsibility, or CSR. And CSR is when a corporation is acting ethically to provide some societal or environmental benefit to either its employees' families, the community, or really society at large. And the reason why I'm talking about this is I'm a public relations major, and PR practitioners, when we enter the workforce, often are the ones creating the CSR initiatives and communicating those initiatives to the public. So first I want to talk about why a corporation would want to practice CSR. Nielsen Data Company in 2015 put out a survey saying that 66% of consumers and 3 in 4 millennials are willing to pay more for a product if they know that that brand is practicing good CSR that aligns with their values. So Edward Freeman, who is a top researcher in CSR, wanted to figure out why this is, and he saw empirical evidence suggesting that if we as consumers feel pride for an organization or feel valued by an organization, we are more likely to exhibit positive behavior towards that organization and start identifying it with our sense of self. So basically, if you shop somewhere, you feel good about it if you know that they're doing good CSR initiatives. So corporations understand that this is a competitive advantage for them in their industry to be practicing CSR, and this might attract more talented employees, more shareholders, more investors, and most importantly, more consumers. So now I want to talk about the 3 most common methods of CSR that we see being practiced. And the first one is ECSR, or environmental CSR, which we briefly heard about earlier, but it's when a corporation tries to reduce the negative impacts it has on the surrounding environment. So that could be using recyclable materials in their product and packaging, or reducing their carbon footprint, or reducing the amount of waste that they produce. And a good example of this is Kroger has recently come out knowing that there's a lot of plastic bags entering our oceans and our landfills, saying that by the year 2025, they will reduce the amount of plastic bags and eventually eradicate plastic bags within their grocery stores. So this is a step in showing that they care about our environment as a corporation. The next type of CSR I want to talk about is philanthropic CSR, which just means a corporation is going to donate a large sum of money to some charity or organization that shows their values, kind of puts their money where their mouth is. And REI is a really great example of this. Jerry Stritzky, their president, came out recently saying that REI was going to be donating $250,000 to the National Park Service in response to the negative impacts that the government shutdown had on the national parks about a month ago. And he also stated that in the last 5 years, REI has donated $10 million to the National Park Service. So that shows that they're not just a retailer selling outdoor gear, but they actually care about public lands, like I assume most of their consumers do. The last type of CSR I want to talk about is internal CSR. So a corporation looks inward and sees what benefits they can offer their employees, what vacation time they can give them, what work-life balance they can suggest, or any of those buzzwords you often hear about. And a great example of this is the dichotomy between Sam's Club and Costco. So when you start working at Sam's Club, you can make $10 an hour. After about 4 years, you can make $12 an hour. Less than half of their employees have full health benefits, and vacation time is not really talked about. But at Costco, when you start working there, you can make $11 an hour. After 4 years, you can make $19.50 an hour. 85% of their employees have full health benefits, and vacation time is not only given, but it's also very encouraged. So it's not so much what corporation you want to work for. It's after knowing those things, do you feel more compelled to shop at one place than the other? So all of these CSR initiatives are implemented across the globe, but they're implemented in a different way. We see a lot in America, we really value capitalistic tendencies or maybe competitive advantage. However, In more European countries, let's say, it comes from the government. So the government is making policies to make their corporations that are there more socially responsible. So with my plastic bag example earlier with Kroger. Now, if you go into a grocery store in, let's say, London, you're going to have to pay if you don't have a reusable bag. And that's not because the grocery store you're in has made some CSR initiative. It's the government regulating that so that the grocery store's industry is more regulated so that they're not producing as much plastic bags. So knowing all of this, I want to leave you with the fact that us as consumers, we all have values and we all see problems in our world. And those values are what corporations are looking at to see what kind of initiatives they should set forth. So if you're ever curious, you can look up a brand and see what CSR initiatives that they're practicing. Thank you.
What's your favorite company of the companies that you think practice good CSR?
Ooh, that's really hard. I think REI, like I stated earlier, has a lot of different initiatives that are really great. And also, in this last slide, I used Lego company. Lego does a lot to promote really great CSR. And actually, Absolute Vodka, like Mary Claire mentioned earlier, practices really great CSR as well. So there's a lot of different companies, but the best ones are when it's holistic, that they don't just focus on one area of CSR, that they really take in all accounts for it, and they actually practice it with integrity. Yes?
This might be based on a lot of false assumptions on my part, but I know that once upon a time, a lot of companies, such as Sam's Club and Walmart, were based around, at least partially, an idea that they were helping a community.
Yes.
That they were providing a way out for people living in abject poverty. But over time, like you said, it's been seen that a lot of these companies, there seems to be some kind of decay in that mission-orientedness. What do you think might cause that, or how do you think you can fix that?
To cause a decay in CSR. I'm not really sure what would be causing it. I do think that it's almost somewhat easier for them to be found out, though, if they're talking about this type of CSR that they practice, but then they're not actually practicing it. And I think back then, we had the PR teams of Walmart and stuff coming out saying that they were practicing all of this CSR. But now we have a lot more technology to really see what impact they're creating. And I think they're trying to take a step back, because I'm not suggesting that they weren't doing that, but they might not have been doing it on the level that they were originally advertising it as. Does that answer your question?
You've been studying SCCT, haven't you?
Yeah, a little bit. Thank you all. Good job. Thank you.